our film's called Stalked. We started off as like looking at horror, but then we changed it to thriller.
Yeah, horror slash thriller.
Yeah. This is basically like people getting followed by someone mysterious. And
okay, so why did you change your sort of focus from horror to horror slash thriller?
we were going to do like a sort of zombie film, but then we thought it was too difficult to do all the makeup and stuff. So
Yeah, costume as well. I think.
Mm.
We tried to make it like a bit more realistic because like zombies and that wouldn't be that scary. Really.
Okay, so in terms of like horror, like subgenres of horror, what are we looking at here? How would you describe it? Because horror films have so many different kinds of horror films. What horror thriller films? So this is kind of a psychological horror rather than say a stabby horror or a gory horror, or what? How would you define it even more than saying a horror thriller?
yeah, it could be psychological because it is like a bit like being paranoid.
Yeah.
Being followed around.
Okay. Okay. Right, turn the lights off, let's watch. Again, everyone else, think about some, I might come to you, think about some kind of positives from this film they've lavished time and attention over.
So are you going to have Shanny then?
Yeah, where are the posters?
Oh yeah, over here.
Thanks, bye then.
See ya.
Hey.
Have you found Shanny yet?
No, I'll call you if I find her.
Okay. Yeah, about an hour's fine. I'll see you later, Lucy, okay? Bye.
Okay, bye.
Interesting. Right, round of applause to this group, please, everybody. First film in the bag. In the bag. Right, good. Turn the lights on, please. Let's have a bit of feedback on your film. Interesting. There's a lot of kind of similarities between the first one in some, well, some similarities between the first one, and they're also quite different. Fabian's quite a good actor, really. I never realised in his own film he's rubbish. In your film he's really good. Okay. Any thoughts? Positives? Sarah, yes.
I like the fact at the beginning of the film it set the scene with the overshot shoulder. You could see that it was a missing cat
Yeah.
that you were going out for.
Yeah, I liked the kind of setting of the scene, and then I also like the fact that you came back to the Fabian at home scene during the telephone call. That's what I mean by combining two different locations. I thought that worked really well, rather than just being out in the dark on the streets. Actually, coming back to that was quite realistic, and that takes some editing skill to kind of put that into that particular timeline. So I thought that worked really nicely. Yeah, good point. Anna.
Yeah, I was going to say about the editing as well. When it switched from a shot of Lucy to her talking to Fabian, it just sort of just slid across. And I thought that worked really well. And then, like the first group, they used the quite staticky like contrast. but they also contrasted it against normal footage, so I thought that worked really well.
Absolutely, I think so too. I think actually, using the I was going to ask about that. Was there some kind of thought process behind which bits to have, for one of that staticky effect, and which bits not to? Was there some meaning behind that, or was it just whatever seemed to fit? And
we were trying to achieve like a CCTV footage thing, but we tried like black and white, and that didn't really look like it. So then we just added in things like old film or something, and it looked slightly more like a CCTV thing. But
well, in your evaluation or as part of research and planning, I would talk about that, because I think making that point to the examiner, would actually help to understand the link between the choice of the different effects. I think that's interesting. Okay. Any other thoughts? Oops, sorry. Anything more to say, David?
Yeah, I like the when right at the end when like the camera was like Lucy's perspective sort of thing, and it was like walking, like sort of shaking a bit, and then spun around, and then you saw the stalk. And I thought that was quite effective actually.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, it was good. And like the close up of Lucy's eyes, and then she walks away quickly. That was a lovely shot.
Yeah.
That was a really lovely shot. And that worked really, really well. Going from that, people often go from far away to close up. We're going from close up to far away. Actually, that worked brilliantly. That was sort of one of the stronger camera shots. That was lovely. Charlie.
I like the way the music starts when Lucy's walking out the house and you know something's going to happen.
Yeah. It's very difficult, isn't it, when you go from silence to music in any kind of opening or trailer. Sometimes that can seem quite jarring, and I have to watch that a second time to work out what I think. Sometimes that can be quite jarring from silence to music kicking in. Sometimes it can work quite nicely to change the scene, and I think that was certainly there. The effect of it, I'm not too sure, but yeah, interesting, Charlie. Thank you, Kieran.
I like the scene with the lampposts. I thought the lighting worked really well there, like sort of showing the poster as sort of the light maybe.
I agree. I think when the lamppost was just there on its own, and you kind of wonder what it is, and then Lucy comes out. That was a lovely framing scene. That lamppost right in the middle of the frame. I thought that was a really nicely shot frame. That one. Yeah, good point. What about you three? What do you think is there's been a lot of positive comments there. What do you think is the kind of key strength to your opening? What's the bit you like about it the most? What are you most pleased about? Nothing.
Sure. Maybe the combination of the editing. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah.
Like going from normal footage to what's called like the old footage from white and then back to normal.
Okay, good. All right, and then before we come out to the whole group again, what do you think, if you had your time again, what would be the kind of key improvements you might make with hindsight?
Really planning it more, because like we had a mindset like, oh, zombies, it sounded exciting, and then when we got to it, we're like, oh no, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
So we kind of, and especially when we're out filming, right, we came up with loads of different ideas like on the spot as well, and I think maybe we should do it again, just like plan it out and stick to it, rather than go,
We changed this already.
Yeah. So yeah, just planning it out really.
Yeah.
Sticking to it.
The planning of these films isn't the most exciting thing to do in the world. And current year 13 will tell you they did the same thing last year after their year 12 viewings, and they've come back in year 13, haven't they, Max? And are still to a certain extent throwing things together. Whereas some people come back in year 13 and go, right, actually, I only have 2 goes at making a film really for coursework, and this is my last chance. Next year will be your second and last chance to create something that's really amazing. So some people have thrown hours and hours and hours into it, the planning stages, and amazing animatics, and really thinking it through before going out to film, and it does have an impact. It really does. Okay, yes, you can get away with it. You can get away. Some of you who will probably get away with it this year, but it's something to think about. The planning stage is very, very important. Okay. Any kind of other sort of critiques? Anything you think maybe could be? They've still got time to revisit it. They've still got time to edit it. Okay. Anything you might work on? You're too nice. Constructive criticism. Yes, Katie.
Maybe do the working title credits at the beginning before you go into the film.
Okay. And maybe and I think interestingly, some of the stronger films seem to be having, which we've kind of realised this year, have your own music playing right from the start over other credits. You know what I mean? That seems to work really nicely for these openings. It's just something I'm realising this year, and that's something you can think about. Okay, good, interesting. Kieran?
I just say cleaning up, talking a bit more. When Fabian and Lucy having a conversation, there's some pauses in it.
Yeah, dialogue is hard. Dialogue's really difficult. It's good that you've tried to use some. Some people avoid it altogether, and it's good that you've tried to use some dialogue. But dialogue's really tough to do well, unless you actually kind of film it and refilm it and clean it up as much as you can. But sometimes it's a question of recording it separately, actually, and adding it in afterwards. You realise. Because otherwise it's often a bit too far away. We haven't got the greatest booms and microphones in school. I need to probably spend some money this summer, if I get any money, on that area of equipment, because I think that's something that often comes out as being a bit sort of lacking when the rest of it sounds so good. Interesting point. Okay, any other thoughts? Two really interesting films with a lot of similarities, okay, but slightly different things to focus on. Thank you very much, guys. Well done. Well done, well done.